Hi, it's Hope and welcome to the blog. This is going to be my 7 books and 7 days reading vlog, and in this vlog I'm obviously going to do, as the title says, read 7 books in 7 days. So it is technically day 2, it is August 2nd, I'm doing this the first week of August, and so yesterday, let's just quickly, originally I was going to go through and be like, oh, here is my TBR, but I kind of have already thrown that TBR out the window, and I'm just going to kind of read what I want to read in these 7 days, because originally this stemmed from my friend Reese told me about a Discord group that they're in about like doing 7 books in 7 days, and originally it was supposed to be that other people are supposed to pick your books based on like lists or criteria you did, but literally yesterday, the start of the day, I realized half the books that were picked, basically I was like, I'm not in the mood to read this, therefore it might put me in a slump. So I kind of threw that list out the window, and now I'm just, there's some of them that are still on that list, but maybe it's, I think only 2 of them, maybe, are still on the list, but yesterday, I'm kind of already falling behind based on what I want to read, but I read 110 pages of Unravel Me by Tahira Mafi, and so this is the 2nd book in the Shadow Me series, and this is the Late Night Bookwarming Book Club's pick for July, and the live show will be on the 13th of August on Morgan from Morgan's Bookshelves channel. I'll leave her channel linked below. So I'm slowly working my way through that. I read a decent chunk yesterday. And then I also started and finished Conclave by Penelope Douglas. This is the 3.5 novella in the Devil's Night series, which I'm slowly working my way through. I say slowly. I've read 3 books in that series in the last month, and probably will read the rest of the series this month, who knows. But I enjoyed this. I gave it 4 stars. It was just like a quick novella. There was some things that I was just like, okay, how is this going to affect future books? And literally my only complaint about this is like there wasn't that much plot, but it was a novella, so really can't complain. That's 1 book down. That was like 102 pages, I think, is what the Kindle edition that I read was. But yeah, I think I have a rough plan of the rest of my TBR, so I'll try to figure that out and let you know as the day goes on, as I finalize it, because I'm realizing I will have to finalize it at some point to know if I'm ahead or behind. But I'm technically ahead because I have 1 book finished in 1 day, and we're on day 2. So can I get another book finished today, or at least start another couple, so that progress. But yeah, this is kind of going to be just chill, random. If I don't complete the 7 books in 7 days, I'm not going to be too mad at myself, but I really do want to finish the 7 books in 7 days as like a challenge to myself. Okay, so it's 8:30 and I've read a bit more, not as much as I wanted to, because let's just say plans earlier, like we had plans to do some things out of the house and they just took a little longer than it was planned, and I was trying to read but my phone was dying and I didn't have a charger, therefore I couldn't read more of an ebook, which I'll talk about that in a second. But I made it up to page 214 of Unravel Me, and I don't really have any updates. I'm really enjoying it. I'll probably finish this tomorrow because honestly I don't see that being a problem, because at the point I'm at, that is the point that when I was first reading it, because I read this book in a day the first time I read it, this was the point, I think it was maybe like a chapter or 2 after this point that I'm at, where I was like, I'm not going to bed until this book is finished. So I feel like tomorrow I'll hit that and then I'll finish this. And then I also started Purple Hearts by Tess Wakefield, and this, the only reason I'm reading this is because the Netflix movie just came out last week, I believe, and I'm interested in it. But since it's based on a book, I want to read the book first. But essentially we follow Cassie, who she is like an aspiring musician who she just got fired from her day job, and she's now going to choose to do her like music career full time. And then we're also following Luke, who he just got out of training for the army and is going to be deployed in 2 weeks. And then it's basically the two of them somehow coming to an agreement to get married so that she'll get the army's health benefits to cover her medicine, and in exchange that Luke would get a little bit more money because of like being a family, he'd get more money. And so that's an agreement, and it's like fake marriage based on the interaction I've seen so far. I'm like 4 chapters in, I think. Based on the interactions they've had so far, they do not like each other because they have opposing views on a bunch of different things. And from what I've read so far, which again is like the first 4 chapters, it's pretty good. And I was like reading it earlier while waiting for my mom to get out of a doctor's appointment. I was like, this is actually kind of good. So I'm honestly probably gonna just like crawl into bed and read it for like the rest of the evening. Hopefully get a good chunk into it. And yeah, I'll let you know how I enjoy it more in the morning because that's probably when I'll update. Okay, so it's the next day around noon, and an update on Purple Hearts is, well, I finished it. So last night I crawled into bed and I started reading. This is probably about 9:30 maybe? Yeah, probably about 9-ish. And I kind of started reading. I was 26 pages in, and then I was just reading. I think 26 pages was about 8 or 9%. And then I was just reading and really enjoying it. And then about between 40 and 50% into the book, I was like, I am not moving until this book is finished. And I did not move until that book was finished around 12:30-ish. It did only take me like, I think less than, probably 3.5 hours to read. It went really fast paced. I really enjoyed it. I gave it 5 stars. Now, I will say that is a subjective 5-star, as in because of the experience I had, that upped the rating. I really enjoyed it. And like I will say, not everybody will enjoy this book because there are questionable things that happen. I'm going to try to keep this as spoiler free, but my only complaints about the book are the ending felt a little rushed and the ending felt a little abrupt. But it left you with such an open ending that you as the reader get to figure out what happens, because there's a pretty big thing that happens at the towards the end of the book that doesn't get resolved, but you as the reader get to figure out the path that goes on. I did really enjoy Luke and Cassie as like individual characters of the journeys that they try to go through, and then the way that each of their individual things affect each other. And I'm trying to think of what else I can say without spoilers. Like, I will say definitely this does have some difficult content for some people to read, so I definitely would try to look up trigger warnings. I can't say some of them because possible spoilers. If it wasn't almost 1 a.m. when I finished messaging my friends about the book, I would have watched the movie. Overall, which is a really good book. It kind of tried to pull at some of my heartstrings. I got emotional a few times. And then after I finished the book, I watched the trailer for the movie, and I almost burst out crying at some of the scenes, like at some of the at some bits of the trailer, because I'm like, oh my god, I know that scene is gonna be that thing. And then yeah, and like I've heard the movie is not as good as the book. I'm going into the movie thinking I'll hate it, so that maybe I'll like it, or who knows. But I'm so glad that I read the book before I watched the movie, because I'm like, if I watched the movie and then I didn't like it, I wouldn't have picked up the book. And now that I've picked up the book, I know I love it. Like, I remember going into it, I'm like, this isn't one that I wasn't interested in this book a week ago. I might not like it, and then I'm coming out like, it's a 5-star. I absolutely loved it. It surprised me so much on how much I loved it. So, yeah, but I'm going to read more of Unravel Me, which is behind me, and then I'll figure out what ebook I'm going to start tonight, but I don't know what that's going to be right now. So it's now 3 o'clock on Thursday, but I'll update you from the last clip. So after the last clip, I ended up being on my friend Katie from Kit Kats Can Read. She hosted impromptu sprints where I read up to page 375 of Unravel Me. So I didn't get it finished like I hoped to, but I will be getting this finished sometime here in the next couple of hours, because I'm going to basically immediately after filming this clip probably start reading, because I want to read, but I'm really enjoying it. And then after those sprints, I ended up hopping on StreamYard with my friends Morgan, Mac, and Reese, and we literally just like kind of hung out for like from 5 o'clock to like 12:30, so 7.5 hours. Therefore, I didn't get any reading done, and I didn't watch the Purple Hearts movie like I wanted to, but I will be watching that tonight, because literally that's all I've thought of literally since I've woken up. So definitely gonna be watching that movie tonight. And then I started Raven's Song by Charlie Nottingham. This is the sequel to Raven's Cry, and this book technically does not come out until August 16th, but I'm a part of the ARC team. Literally on Katie's sprints yesterday, right at the beginning, you can see my face when I get the email going, oh, okay. And I'm 24% into that. I don't know if I mentioned that. My brain is all over the place. But the first book, Raven's Cry, we follow Rain, who is a witch, and basically she is offered this job by this vampire named Ezra to basically rid this estate of ghosts, and she does this, and there is a romance that forms between Rain and Ezra, but then there's also a little romance between Rain and her best friend Graham, and then there's other things too. This book, it features like a whole polyamorous relationship dynamic. Starts in book 1, but it's much more in book 2, as like the characters' relationships and dynamics are already kind of established, so then you're just building upon those and like discussing them, and like the paranormal elements are really good, because we have Rain, who is a witch, and then we have Ezra and his, is it husband or is it just partner? I can't remember entirely, who are vampires, and then we have Graham, who is a fae, and we also have this whole element of like there's this woman in black that we're trying to figure out who she is, and it's just like, everything is so good about this. I'm loving book 2 so much. Again, I literally just kind of want to drop everything and just like read it. I might do that after I finish Unravel Me, who knows, but that's just a little update on what I'm reading, how things are going, and all of that. And Unravel Me is finished. I'm giving this 5 stars because I absolutely loved it. I love the characters. Yes, it's like the plot and the pacing could be better, but like I have such like this series, I will always have really fond memories of reading book 1.5, book 2, book 2.5, and book 3. Literally, I read those 4 books in 4 days. Like, I read 1 book a day. I read this in one sitting when I first read it. So I'll always have that kind of memory of enjoying it. And also, I do really like these characters. Yes, they can be a little annoying, but they're young characters. Like, the world they grow up in is different to our own. Therefore, you have to think of, like, oh, they're going to perceive things different than we do. They're going to act differently, and, like, I just will always love this series, I think. Whether it's actually, like, good or not, I don't care. I love it so much. I'm mad that I do not own the rest of the series so that I can binge it, because I've said to myself that as I read these, I'm buying them, and at the moment, I can't afford it. So, we know what will probably be one of my next purchases, which is the book 3. I will probably read the novella digitally, because I'm not, at this moment, I don't really care if I own the novellas. At some point I'll want to, but they're not like top priority, but the main books are. So yeah, rough thoughts on this. But now I'm going to go read more of Raven's Song. Okay, so it's 12:30 on Friday, and I'll do a little update on reading, and then I will be talking about the Purple Hearts movie, but I will be doing an entire separate, like, book review slash movie review slash comparing them, because I have a bunch of thoughts. But I ended up reading up to, between last night and tonight, 65% of Ravensong, and I'm really enjoying it. I love just all the character dynamics, all of the elements. Like, I totally forgot going into this book that it was set in 2001. I was like, oh yeah, I forgot this takes place in 2001. And then also I forgot that one of the characters is a necromancer, and I was like, that should have been something I remembered, but I didn't. So if you ever need for a prompt, like necromancer, this book works. But I am just quickly gonna read the little review that I gave my friends on Discord, because I wrote out an entire spoiler-free thoughts, and it should only take a couple seconds. So overall rating, 4.5 out of 5 or 9 out of 10, depending on how you want to do movie ratings. The rating compared to the book is 3 out of 5. So, like, it's a good movie overall, but when you compare it to the book, it's not as good. But I went in thinking, okay, it's going to be different, and it was, but in a good way. So the movie removes 2 huge parts of the story, one of which I'm glad they removed because I didn't like it, and one I'm upset about, as it was something that I enjoyed. So the essence of the story is the same, even though some things are changed. This is the base plot line, and the character dynamics are still the same. That is what I enjoy. Overall, it does condense down a 314-page book into 2 hours fairly nicely. If you go in expecting it's going to be exactly like the book, you're going to be slightly disappointed, but if you go in expecting things to be changed, you would like it. I cried at the credits for some reason. I just, like, the credits started, and I was like, I'm gonna cry. And then I, like, started crying. The racist remark that was made by one of these side characters, I do not know why they fucking added it in. They could have removed that single line and it wouldn't have changed the story. That is the only thing I think that made it so that it wasn't like a 5 out of 5 movie, is that racist remark that was not necessary. I'll agree that there are some problematic things, and, like, I understand why people wouldn't like the movie or the book, but for me personally, I just love it. I'll save everything else that I have on my thoughts for that whole separate video that will be going up sometime this month. I'm going to film it today, but I don't know when it's going to go up, because I have a lot of other thoughts. That's kind of where I'm at. I will be starting Covet by Tracy Wolf, which is the 3rd book in the Crave series. I'll be starting that audiobook today. And other than that, I don't really have anything to update. Yes, I'm starting like a 600 and some page book for 7 books in 7 days. But I know I can easily fly through that the next 3 days. And I'm close to finishing Raven's Cry, so that'll probably be finished tonight. I'll get a good chunk into Covet. I might start another physical book. I possibly have like 100 and some page arc coming my way, but I don't know when I'm going to be receiving it. Okay, so my phone is dying, so I can't make this last that long, but I'm 29% into Covet, and I'm really enjoying it. I don't really have any thoughts on it, except I'm enjoying it. I'm loving, like, I'll keep it spoiler free, but I'm loving the whole Grace and Hudson thing. If you've read the book, you know their dynamic. I'm loving it. I'm very interested to see where it goes. I will definitely be finishing it in these 7 days. Which, one thing that's so weird, it does not feel like it's been 5 days since I started this vlog. It equally feels like I started this vlog like 2 weeks ago, and then I also started it like yesterday. So I'm like, time is but a concept. I am 3 books into my 7 books in 7 days, and it's day 5. But I've already finished 3 books. I have Raven's Song, which I'm almost finished. Then Covet will be book 5. I also have a novella that is about 150 pages that is an arc that I'm going to read. Originally I was debating, do I read the first book in the series and then it, but I'm like, I remember enough. Also, it's on my Kindle app. I've been wanting to read it since it was announced, therefore I'm gonna read it. I don't, like, it's simple, so that would bring me up to 6, and then I would just need a 7th. Also, I literally broke my nail on my knee. Don't ask me how. I was poking my knee and then it just bloop. But yeah, I will update you when I read more, and yeah. Okay, so it is Saturday at 6:40. Last night I did finish Raven Song. I don't know what side I'm putting it on. And I'm giving it 4 stars. It was really good. It's weird because I feel like this was almost like a quote-unquote filler book, but it did have, you learned more about one character of, like, throughout the first book there was this woman in black that was, like, following one of the characters around. You learn more about her backstory and why she's important. The character dynamics change and shift, and you see that progress. You see how much the characters care for each other, and overall I really enjoyed it. I don't really have that many thoughts on it, but today I started Marshmallows by Louise Willingham, which is a novella companion to Not Quite Out by Louise Willingham. I have the book here, so I own the book, so I figured might as well grab it. But this essentially, I've read it. I read it April of last year, but I'll just read the back of the book for you because I always struggle to describe this. So, William Anson is done with relationships. He's starting the 2nd year of his medical degree, single, focused, and ready to mingle with purely platonic intentions. Meeting Daniel, a barely recovering drug addict, ready to start living a life on his own terms, may well change that. But there are 2 problems. Well, William isn't out. After all, what's the point in telling your friends you're bisexual when you aren't going to date anyone? 2, Daniel's abusive ex-boyfriend still roams the university campus, searching for cracks in Daniel's recovery. No matter how quickly William falls for Daniel, their friendship is too important to risk ruining over a crush. William is fine with being just friends for the rest of forever. Well, not quite. So this is like the story of them meeting, them becoming friends, and them forming a relationship, and then Marshmallows is just, it's literally, the author describes it as a fluff novella. That is exactly what it is. It is literally, the half of the book is literally just take place. I've already read up to 51%, and I'm going to finish it tonight because it literally, I think it'll take me 40 minutes maybe to finish. But the first half of this book was literally one day of them just spending time with each other, and the struggles that they're going through. William is struggling with exams, and Daniel is struggling with still his recovery, both his, like, mental and physical journey, and there has literally, even though there's been this is like 150 pages, so in the point that I've done, there's been a lot of topics that are dealt with, and like in this book there's a bunch of topics that we deal with, and those continue into Marshmallows with such ease. And like, one thing I like, I also should add that Marshmallows isn't out yet. This is an arc. It comes out November 17th. So I shouldn't actually say that much about it. Wow, I'm just realizing. I still can't believe I got my hands on an arc of this. Like, I remember when it was announced, I was like, I just need that, and now I have it. I'm reading it. I love it. It's literally just a fluff novella, and it's almost making me want to, for like one of my books, just write like a fluff novella. And I'm like, first you need to finish the fucking book, and then you could write a fluff novella of just absolutely cuteness. So yeah, I'm loving that. I'll finish it tonight. I'll be reading more of Covet. I honestly might start another book, because obviously 7 books, 7 days. I'm currently 4 books into it. I have 2 days left, and I have 3 books to read. So like, I kind of should do that, because I do want to do the 7 books in 7 days. So yeah. Okay, so it's 12:40 on Sunday, aka the final day of this 7 books in 7 days. And I finished Marshmallow. I gave it 5 stars. I absolutely loved it. It's literally just a fluff novella. So cute, so simple. It made me feel so fucking single. And I loved it, I loved it, I loved it. And I made it up to 53% of Covet. I will be finishing this today because I'm literally right after this vlog clip. I'm going to be jumping on, I'm going to be like hosting sprints. And I am not ending those sprints until I end the book. That is what I'm telling myself. Or else it might not get finished. And then I will be reading probably like a smutty novella to wrap up the 7 books in 7 days, because I've currently only done 5. Covet will be my 6th, and then I'll need a 7th, and I have a couple of like smutty novellas that I could read later. So yeah, it's just a little update. And it's 11:57, and I finished 7 books in 7 days. So I finished Covet by Tracy Wolff. I'm giving it 5 stars. I absolutely loved it. The ending, oh my god. Can no characters be good? Like, can we go a single book without a character dying? Let's just put it that way. Not spoiling who died, but I loved it. I'm going to probably be reading Court within the month because I need to know what happens next. Because, oh my god, cliffhanger. Oh my god. And then the 7th and final book that I read for the 7 books in 7 days is Burdens We Carry by Dana Eisley. And this is a erotic novella where essentially we follow Owen and Aurora, and it is and they are in an arranged marriage that was created by their parents. They've never met before their wedding night, and they realize that there is a kind of, they are attracted to each other, and it's just them having sex on their wedding night, basically. I hate that I liked it. I'm giving this like 3 stars. It wasn't good, wasn't bad. It was just a book. It's continuing a series because this is the 3rd book in the One Night series, which literally are just very smutty novellas that focus on like 2 characters spending one night together and then where that night goes. But I'm gonna end this here because A, I'm tired, B, I read 7 books in 7 days and some of them were quite chunky. So yeah, I really hope you enjoyed this video. I honestly might try to do more of these kind of vlogs where it's like a specific challenge. So if you have any ideas for those, like it could be like this is 7 books in 7 days, or I could do something like reading blank series in blank time, or like just kind of anything fun like that. I'd love the suggestions, so feel free to drop those in the comments below. But I really hope you enjoyed this video, and bye!